GM, man, crypto wipeout. It is rough out there. You know, Adam, I was looking at it the other day. When we joined Emblem was 2 days after FTX blew up.
No shit.
When the official, our official announcement was 2 days after FTX blew up. We joined the company November 1st, and then we had the announcement on like the 15th, and FTX flew up on like the 12th.
That was one of the worst days of my life. So
was it really? Did you have money in FTX, man?
All of my money was in FTX.
Well, are you serious?
Yeah. FTX and BlockFi. A huge percentage of my net worth. I was an original BlockFi customer. Yeah, it was terrible.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, it was rough. I remember talking with Chris through that.
Bro, you weren't selling NFTs on FTX to get your money off, bro? Trying to
I had some NFTs, but it was a nightmare. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was totally awful.
Shit, dude.
Did you end up getting any of that back?
Some. You know, you had some accounts, but it's just a lot of it's still just held up.
So in theory, you should be, when it's all like the dust settles and after the fucking lawyers take their $500 million or whatever, in theory, you'll get some money back at the end.
Yeah, but I mean, the way that they like stamped the prices is it's when it was at the absolute worst. So Bitcoin was basically at like 15,000, and then you get like a percentage of that, which is like you're getting like 8K per Bitcoin or something like that. It's kind of like, I mean, it's basically a total wipeout no matter what you do. So just kind of is what it is. And then BlockFi was basically the same thing. It's funny because I never used Celsius because it was super sketchy, but I was an OG BlockFi customer. I really believed in like a crypto bank and collateralized lending with Bitcoin and things like that. So I was like a super early customer, really believed in the product. Didn't really think much of it when Sam actually bought that company as well. You know, didn't really think that it was like such a concentrated risk. and it just turns out that it was like an ultra concentrated risk. But
It's funny looking back on it. It's like, why wouldn't you think that? But I guess nobody does at the time.
you know, I mean, because you think like they're still operated separate. I don't know. It just didn't seem like that much could go wrong. But yeah, lost many, a lot of money in those things. So,
And I mean, so if you look at it compare from last crypto blow up to now, what are the main catalysts and difference you think? Obviously, the price is a lot higher, so the sell off is more volume. I saw Rager Josh actually from the Bongo team posted today from Bitcoin top to bottom last cycle 210 days, from Bitcoin top to bottom this cycle 120 days, from 125,000 to where it is today. So it was almost 50% faster, or almost 100% faster, I guess, right? Almost 2x faster.
is that saying that if this is the bottom, right, it could just go 100 more days?
Oh,
It could.
Oh, you say it's
You go way fucking lower than this.
It's like the Homer meme,
days now.
so far.
So far, exactly, bro. Yeah, it feels to me like, I mean, we get, of course, it all depends on the macro. And for me, because I just don't think it's just not decoupled. I mean, and that's like the arguments against Bitcoin. I think the best arguments, the strongest arguments against Bitcoin is that it's just not decoupled at all. It's not decoupled from the dollar. It's not decoupled from markets. There's like, it just doesn't do it. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do. But do I agree with that? Not necessarily. I mean, I think we're in too short a time frame, but that's also loser speak. Like, I don't know. Somebody was going off on Pio, which if you guys have tracked Pio, he was a huge MSTR guy and just very like, this is the best thing ever. And dudes were like, bro, you've led people into the worst trade of all time. And here you're like tripling down, and Pio's giving them, well, yeah, because you need a longer time frame. And it's like, bro, that's the worst, argument ever for an asset, right? It's just, oh no, it's long. You just got to think longer, and I'm reminded in that sort of case of like silver. Like when I used to do an option show and we'd talk stocks, we'd have this guy on once a month, Chris Marcus, and he would tell us about silver. Silver's the greatest thing. It's being held down. It's being, manipulated. And like, bro, he was selling that for 20 years, selling that shit. And finally, like they ripped. All right, fine. Like it happened this cycle. I was talking to my brother though. He's like, look, he probably sold none of his silver position, right? still like wrote it up and back, right? So all that to say, like none of us fucking know, right? None of us fucking.
So last cycle we had, right, the FTX blow up. There's just the whole market was just rife with fraud. You had the FTX blow up. Well, I guess some bad trades, right? You had Three Arrows Capital was just completely over leveraged to the tits. Luna, right? Fraud. This time around, which one?
Celsius, obviously, just
Celsius and BlockFi.
But Celsius was like egregious. Like
that was
they were offering, remember, like 25% base yield, like crazy.
Yeah. And so then this time around, I guess the question is, it seems like the running narrative is OG selling seems to be the thing. That's got to be unwinding right now. That's got to be some of the sell pressure, the Binance 1010 issue with the liquidation. I don't think we know. It's always like kind of somewhere in the middle between all of it. But Chris, what do you think if you had to put a bullseye on it? What do you think is like the main catalyst here?
Well, I think it's just, as always, it's everything. It's all of those and more. I mean, I saw Nick Carter say that there was a big player that exited through Galaxy for $9 billion in Bitcoin because he was scared of quantum. And so, Nick Carter was an original. They had these thing called FUD dice. I think I have in here somewhere.
Do you have some FUD dice?
Yeah, I have some FUD dice. Let me see.
OG. He's been selling those forever.
What is 9 billion in Bitcoin? Is that like 90,000 Bitcoin or something like that? Is that what that is?
Yeah. Well, now it's like, more. There's some FUD dice. There's the quantum.
Yeah.
And these were like the original FUDs against Bitcoin. And, we always had great arguments against them. Like they were just the standard, it's melting the environment. And we're like, no, it's not. That's just like a narrative. But now Nick Carter's on the other side where he's saying quantum is actually one of the biggest risks, even though he was one of the earliest to call it out that it wasn't a risk. But basically we're saying that compute is and technology is exponentially growing at such a rate that we do need to adapt now to get ahead of it, because in 5 years time we're going to be so far behind. And you know how Bitcoin improvement proposals work, these BIPs, they take 5, 6, 7 years just to get anything through, so especially like a major change like upgrading to quantum resistance.
Yeah.
So even if it's 7 years out, 8 years out, we need to get ahead of it now. And a lot of people are just kind of taking the hedge.
It's wild. I mean, it's wild that, well, I mean, delevered $9 billion. Like, bro, I mean, that's the kind of insane, like long-term holders, like, you know, just crazy. Think about that. So it's roughly like 100,000 Bitcoin, right? Roughly.
Well, now
That's
it's like double that because Bitcoin's like 60K.
Oh, I'm thinking 120. I got you. So it's like 200K Bitcoin. Holy smack.
And that's just like one entity, right? And then that triggers so many other people, and then people just kind of piggyback on the trade and sell down with it. You know, you have like CZ that always likes to just kind of cause these cascades. That's what like Sam was super famous for. Just anytime there was like any sell pressure, he would just double down and just cause a crazy cascade and buy the liquidations. But it's an interesting time. I mean, Jake and I and Adam were talking before the show that there's like all crypto natives are just packing up and going somewhere else. You have Brian Armstrong, you have Kyle Samani, Vitalik.
Wait, Brian's doing the health stuff now, or the longevity
thing.
Right, when you're a billionaire, you start worrying about dying.
You're like, I gotta live forever, so here we go. But Fred Airsome's been the same way. He's been working on that stuff for a long time. CZ, like, I mean, I don't know what he does, but I don't know. You know, just
like the last times there were scams that took down crypto. This time, crypto's taking down crypto. It's like crypto was the scam this time. It's like there's no use case for this. Although I saw one thing. It was like we found out the only use case for crypto was finance, and it's like, oh, so the only use case for crypto was fucking everything. What are we talking about?
The biggest.
You're seeing a lot of recalibrations, right? Base dropped the social fi. They said they're going to try to focus on trading. Solana is going all in on trading and dominating that. You have AI agents are now starting to catch popularity. People are starting to move over to AI, focus a lot more attention on that. I guess, you know, if DATs are unwinding, you have Saylor and Tom Lee, you see everyone kind of grave dancing on them. But I put this post out the other day. If you're going to buy that much publicly, I feel like you have to buy the top. I feel like that's the only way possible. Like there's no way you're going to be buying that. There's no way you're going to get raise billions of dollars in a bear market to buy that amount. Right. That just doesn't happen. You have to buy it at peak mania.
That's when your AUM is the highest. So that's when you can go get the most leverage against your AUM. So you always have to be raising at the top. That's how it works.
Yeah. And people tend to grave dance on that.
I mean, it's funny that, you know, that through the history of crypto, it was like seen as like, oh, once Wall Street comes aboard, then it's fucking roses and wine, right? But it's like it turned out to be the exact opposite. It's amazing that people didn't see that really coming, to be honest. You know, more buyers and stuff. It really didn't. We got no real like ludicrous bull cycle like we did in 21 or even 17. Like there was just nothing. And
I don't know. Bull cycle is pretty crazy. Meme coins went absolutely ballistic for a long time. That was pretty wild. You got Friend Tech guys exit scamming for $50 million publicly. Like it was pretty crazy. I'm not gonna lie. It was just very concentrated on Solana,
it wasn't
for the
like
most part.
Totally like just our underlying infrastructure bag. There was no infrastructure bag. Really great vibes. Although I guess Solana, you could even say Solana had a great run, right? So
yeah, the ordinals in Bitcoin, like that was kind of right. It was FTX blew up, and then ordinals came literally like 2 months later. And that show went pretty crazy for a while.
Yeah. I think the difference is that there's so many off ramps now that a lot of people just take the money out of the ecosystem. Before it would go somewhere else, but now they make money and they literally put it in dollars, ironically.
Fucking
it wasn't really like that in previous cycles, you know, but it is now. Everyone's just focused on max extraction, which is sad to see.
They're saying Tom Lee's is the worst trade of all time or something. I don't know if that's true or not.
That's my goat, bro. You guys better chill on Tom Lee.
I like Tom Lee, honestly. I know a lot of people say he's retarded and he always buys the top, but
even if he goes down with it, dude, he's taking a shot at being one of the most powerful people in the entire world. Like, do you take that trade if it works 1 out of 10 times? Like, why not? He's still a rich guy. What's the matter?
Dozy Do
Is
says
worth 100 billion. Yeah, I'd take the bet.
is Dozy Do says is Epstein Satoshi? You know what's funny is one of my old coworkers at Omnia nightclub texted me yesterday asking the same thing.
I got 2 texts that said the same thing.
Are you
Really?
serious?
Yeah.
With the Satoshi
You're
Epstein
fucking
thing.
retarded, dude.
Yeah, I was like, absolutely not. And he's like, well, my wife is freaking out, wants to sell all her Bitcoin.
Bro,
Did you say back?
I said no. He's like, you sure? It was like
You
100%.
still should sell. You still
I
should.
said this guy did it all. He was emailing back and forth between every powerful person in the entire world, eating thousands of pizza, exploiting children on islands, and creating Bitcoin. What a life he's living. This
What a
guy.
life. That guy was fucking genius.
Can he do it all? I don't know. Does he have the capacity to do that? I'm not sure.
Pretty crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, that happened to me yesterday. I was like, whoa. And it was like
Crazy.
he sent me like an image. It was like there was like a email, I guess, and it looks like a fake email, but it's like an imitation of one of the Jeffrey Epstein emails where he's DMing with or emailing with Ghislaine Maxwell, and it's like, yeah, our Satoshi project's doing well or something like that.
Oh, it's so awesome, dude. It's so fucking awesome. And I mean, I've been on. I listened to the Ordinal show last night. They had Charles on, so I was listening in on that. And they went down the Satoshi rabbit hole a little bit with Adam back, and just yeah, it's amazing. You know, even people who know a lot, there's still huge gaps of information, and the way people connect these dots, where I mean, they were like Adam Back was in bed with Satoshi. I was like, dude, how do you get that, dude? Adam Back was raising fucking capital. Did he take it from fucking Epstein? Like, yeah, I mean Epstein, not Satoshi. Like, did he? Yeah, he took it, but like in bed, really? Like, I just not that sort of narrative shifting to like make points on the timeline is pretty whack in my opinion.
Yeah.
But certainly, like Epstein, they had a hand in it, right? And like, you know,
he was funding Bitcoin developers through like MIT research programs.
Roger Ver's credit, like that, you know, hijacking Bitcoin's real, and like, you know, whether he was able to fully force it through, no, you know, but money kind of moves stuff, and that's the way it kind of works, you know, and you know, it is what it is, you know. But then again, if you like, Luke was all over Adam, you know, telling Adam he should resign and blah blah blah, and it's like, well, Luke, if that's true too, remember Adam supported small blocks, so are we going big blocks now? I mean, is BCH the real Bitcoin? You know, are we going to go back to this? Like, I don't know. Maybe we should, man. Maybe we should have that conversation.
Speaking of big blocks, small blocks, Vitalik has completely reversed his position on L2s. That I will go down with my prediction from last year, saying that Vitalik was going to stick it out. He's not sticking it out at all. He's actually doubling down on now trying to go after the L1 scale. It's kind of a long post, but ideally the summarization he was saying is that a lot of the L2 vision that he had didn't turn out, and it ends up being centralized models who aren't necessarily contributing to the Ethereum ecosystem and are using the L2 narrative to build their own brand, when in reality they're not Ethereum aligned, and none of the current L2s went to what he calls a stage 2 L2, which is moving past permission. This is like decentralized sequencers, or I think native rollups is what he calls it. And ultimately, he says that any L2s moving forward, like if you're going to be Ethereum aligned, you have to specialize, which was something that we had talked about, was that the general purpose L2 is definitely dead, and that it's you're gonna have to specialize in some capacity. Chris, what's your take here? Obviously, the Solana thesis plays out, right? So all the Solana chads from the early days are validated.
Inevitable for sure. Jake actually kind of thought that Solana was going to have to go to L2s at some point, and I was like, no way. The L2 thesis just never made sense to me at all. Why would you? What's the whole point of a blockchain? Is to have it on a single ledger that's, you know, decentralized and managed by everyone, not a fleet of decentralized ledgers all communicating against each other. Didn't really make sense to me. I'm not sure why he didn't just charge more rent for the L2s within this whole thing. I would have just.
It's going to tariff them.
Yes, but the tariff, I mean, it makes the most sense. Like they're literally utilizing the Ethereum security model to some extent. Why not just charge them more and subsidize the base network? That makes the most sense while you're trying to improve the latency issues that L1 has. That made the most sense. But I mean, what a disaster for Vitalik. I'm not going to lie. It is. But this is also bullish Ethereum, in my opinion, that he's willing to be publicly wrong and take shots and try and do something else. And just, he was the captain of the ship and he said, we're going in the wrong direction. And I think the first step to fixing the problem is admitting that you have the problem. So I don't know. I've been bullish on Ethereum. I was the Ethereum bull after being the Solana bull for the longest time. I think this makes me even more bullish on Ethereum. I don't see, it's just software. It's upgradable. You have to think back when they pulled off the merge seamlessly. Like the engineering talent that they have is incredible. It's the largest network of decentralized engineers in the entire world. I know. I just don't think it's done. I don't think it's over for that network.
Well,
Adam, he's backtracking now. Do any of these L2s survive? Are they all done? Do they try to get aligned with Vitalik's vision, or do they move to become just sidechains or their own L1s?
Well, it's interesting. Like I'm thinking about it more from like Wall Street's perspective. Like, how are they going to want to interact with blockchains, and is it going to want to be on public blockchains? And I've been convinced now, after talking on a couple of like Mario shows with really smart Wall Street guys, that they're going to want to use chains or create their own chains, which kind of you need to have be able to have private transactions. You need to be able to basically obfuscate things, but you also want to kind of do what everybody else is doing. You want to be able to say to your shareholders or whatever, not that you built your own chain and something happened and it got fucked up, but that you did what was standard. And I don't know if you guys saw like Canton, that blockchain, which I don't even know. I think it's all fucking smoke and mirrors, fake trading, fake volume, all that sort of stuff, right? But he mentioned that one because I think they partnered with, I don't know, they partnered with some big like trading firm or something. And he mentioned them in that, like, who's going to be able to create a connection where they become just like the option that they can explain to their lawyers, if you will, or to regulators. And I do think L2s on top of Ethereum still have that possibility to do that. We saw it. I think it was Fidelity offered, their stable coin on Ethereum. I do still think there is that possibility that Ethereum wins because of that, right? Because you do need more functionality than you're going to get on Solana. Right. And so are these guys all going to do L1s? I doubt it. They're going to want a path that's kind of made for them or ready-made for them. At least in TradFi. Like that's the way I see it. And so I still think there's something there. But yeah, this is a wacky week for fucking Ethereum. And I don't know if what do you guys think like Vitalik's like purpose of this was? Was it just to get people in Ethereum thinking about changing or doing something different, like monkey wrench time? Like, what was he doing here? What do you think his strategy was?
I think it's kind of where the market sentiment is. You definitely need to make this change when sentiment is the worst. When you don't want to make this change when there's traction. You need to do it when everyone's left and you only have the true believers. The people who stick around are generally the cypherpunk crypto native type people. Right, we've been through multiple bear markets, so for us, it makes a lot of sense. If he was to say this when Ethereum was pumping to like 5, 6, 7K, the world would not have that shit at all. Right? It's kind of like shut your mouth and just go with the momentum. Everyone kind of knew it wasn't working. He actually came out much more hardcore than I thought he would. I thought he would be kind of soft on the L2s. That guy just basically said "fuck you" to the L2s, which is kind of wild. But he put in, his I guess you'd say academic type narrative on it, which he generally does. And he's actually been following up on the past few days since, posting more information on kind of his thought. He put like a longer post out today about what it's going to take to scale Ethereum and kind of how they're going to do it with the current talent that exists and such. So he's definitely put a lot of thought into it. I'd be interested to see over the next 6 months how the L2s position themselves. I saw Jesse from Base basically came out and said their whole plan was to go to stage 2. So we'll see if Base acts. If that'd be very bullish Base if they do end up moving towards the Vitalik aligned L2 vision, the essentially decentralized L2s. For some of these other ones, I don't know, right? You could see some fallout where Polymarket just goes and creates their own blockchain, right? Because if Polymarket's not aligned with Ethereum, it's like you might as well just be your own brand at that point. Why be aligned with Polygon at that situation? That'd be kind of my question.
There's so much money on the table, right? Creating your own token. It's just like, why would you not do that? I don't understand why.
Yeah, there's no doubt that being Ethereum aligned has a ton of value, especially if you're in like Vitalik's good grace. I mean, there's Chris's prediction for this year was that the cypherpunk ideals are going to come back. That does seem to be where this is headed.
Yeah.
And so Vitalik is the cypherpunk, right? He's one of the biggest cypherpunks out there. So if you're following in his vision, that's going to be very bullish if the culture continues to move back towards those ideals. But there's still a big question on some of these L2s. I mean, it's a bloodbath out there for these companies. The NFT market. I saw Matt Medved put a post out today about the
marketplaces, right?
The eulogy of the marketplaces or whatever, of all of them dying. SocialFi's dead. I wouldn't be surprised over the next 6 months if we see a lot of these L2s just shut down shop and call it a day. There's still probably a little bit more. I don't know how much more blood there is for the token price, but I think there's still some for certain sectors of the industry.
I guess part of it is just how much runway they have, right? I think, what was it? Monad has, I don't even know what it is.
$1
billion, right? Or whatever. And my gut goes to like Abstract, right? Like, how much did they raise? Like maybe they did raise a couple $100 million or something. I mean, maybe they did, and they can run for a few years, but like, who the fuck's using Abstract, bro? Or I mean, just realistically, like, how is this working? I mean, when at the end of the year, I predicted Flow, right? Just because the guys are innovators and stuff, and I know it's down 50% or whatever since I called that. So, but I mean, so it's at like whatever, $50 million is the value of the fucking blockchain or whatever. But they also have like $200 million of runway. Right. So, I think they're going to probably survive. But I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I don't know when airdrop, like when are you getting that airdrop for that fucking NFT, bro? You got to sell that thing fucking ASAP, dude. ASAP. When is that happening, bro?
Yeah. When's your airdrop, Jack? When's the only airdrop happening? When's that?
Yeah. Mega ETH. It's supposed to happen on the 9th. I saw some people posting, like pleading Mega ETH to wait to do the TGE for better market conditions.
Once again,
it's one of the best memes ever. One of the best.
The best meme ever is the guy jumping off the cliff, and it's like vesting schedule.
Oh yeah,
bro, that is the
vesting achieved, and he's like, I quit.
It's like literally all these guys. They're so mad. Obviously, it's because we like interact with them or like it or laugh at it, right? The algorithm's like, oh, he likes this vesting, because all I see is fucking dudes like quitting all these companies, man.
Vesting achieved. It's so good. But man, I mean, this just, it's like Adam was talking about Wall Street coming in and how it was going to be like all like daisies and roses, but it's like the most savage capitalist markets in the entire universe, and they'll just buckle the market and then buy everything for pennies on the dollar and then send it way higher so that no one can ever buy it back up again. I mean, that's like the typical playbook. And so the Wall Street marketing machine, it works both ways. They have sell side research and buy side research, and they're always playing everyone against what their real positions are. And obviously they're unloading a ton of coins, and they're going to be able to buy 50K. You couldn't buy 50K Bitcoin since before Trump announced that he was backing crypto in his presidential campaign in like July or whatever that was, 2023. Right. So, yeah, I mean, it seems kind of obvious what the playbook here is, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. But it's a good time to be a cross-chain crypto company that doesn't have any stake in any, we can kind of just go to whatever blockchain is necessary.
Never more clear that interoperability is like one of the main narratives, and intelligence. That's what we said. Bankers cruising, they're crushing, they're getting a lot of attention.
Bro, a lot of attention.
a lot of attention. A lot of the tokens that were deployed have all gone back down to zero, pretty much. I think the more interesting thing about the whole banker situation is that you have traditional AI. I only say traditional, but you have AI, non-crypto AI companies and crypto companies all pushing after the same thing, which is these like Molebot or OpenClaw type products. And some of the AI companies that are creating this stuff are coming out against crypto, saying that's bad. And then some of the AI teams are saying they like crypto and they're going to try to do a token. I think it's really kind of the first instance I've seen where you have both two different industries pushing after the same thing, coming at it from different incentive models. I'm most interested to see 6 to 12 months from now at the intersection of crypto and AI. Is the incentive model subscriptions or is it tokens? I think it's to be determined, right? We're kind of doing both right now with Hustle. Obviously, we're going to pick a direction here pretty soon once all the upgrades are up and companies a little bit more formed and stuff. But I'm curious to see that direction. But I also, Adam was a little validated. A lot of the Molebook stuff was smoke and mirrors. A lot of it was just people on computers posting. I saw a post the other day. It was like 20,000 registered agents to humans out of like 1.5 million or something like that. Yeah. But Shannon's been out there testing it. It looks with his Claudebot testing stuff, shilling Emblem and kind of seeing how that goes. There's no doubt in my mind that's definitely the direction all this is going for sure.
Yeah, Hustle's on Molebook. He's shilling some Emblem products. We're on that soon. It's a crazy world we're going into, but knew that this was kind of like faulty and maybe not completely real. But the thing is, you get a glimpse of the future and you're like, I posted yesterday, we're building this for digital natives. We're building these products, but we're building them for non-humans. Basically, it seems that just work autonomously, maybe on the behalf of humans, maybe by themselves. But it seems clearer every day that autonomous agents are going to be the marketplace of the internet. They're the net buyers. They're the net users of all of this stuff, whether there's a human behind them or not. And I don't think that was a reality a year ago. And that seems to be concrete reality going forward. So that's a step change in difference.
I mean, it's funny. We were talking offline about swarms, and this is like, okay, these are real swarms, but they're just kind of communicating. They haven't really done anything, because I know if they did something, we would all see it. Like, I would know that they've done something, right? Because they haven't really done anything. It's like they're forming churches. Fucking go fuck yourself, bro. They're forming cults. And he launched a token, bro. Get the fuck out of here, bro. I don't want to hear it, bro. I literally don't want to hear it. Show me them doing something that impacts like somebody who's not in fucking crypto, And we're still like it's like a level. It's like we're walking up steps where we've gone up 2 steps over the course of a year, where it's like we just had chatbots and then we have like this first kind of swarm bots, but it's like there's no heft to it yet. There's no nothing. It's still like it's barely even the toy stage. Now it could change rapidly, right? Obviously, it could change it completely in a year, but I just feel like nothing's going to make sense until we get that first kind of like use case. And right now, all we have is like ideas and little snippets of the way it's going to work. But we need that use case, man. We need something to actually like happen,
outside of just stable coins.
Yeah. Outside of just, I mean, even that, like I haven't seen, oh, my agent's trading. What's he doing? What are they doing? You can hire agents. Show me agents hiring agents to do shit. I don't see shit. There's nothing. Like there's the ideas, and you can now do it, but I just don't hire a human. Show me, bro.
I mean, some of the stuff on like Claudebot is crazy, and it's literally agents building stuff for them, building tools that they need to complete tasks. That's like something that would have been mind-blowing a year ago, that not only would they say that they need something, but they would be able to build it themselves because the platforms that they're on are so strong. And I think just like stablecoins alone, like we birthed, let alone like another $100 billion industry. And we're like, is that enough? Like, that's a lot. That's a huge, that's a huge milestone. But I just think of like our positioning in between multi-chain and cross-chain interactions, wrapped into intelligence. And I think that I mean, we say it all, no one can be positioned better than us. Like the platform is so good and it's so early and it's so directionally correct. And there's so many tangentially related breakthroughs every week that when we finally get to wrap all this stuff up, I mean, it's just, we're on the verge of such an incredible product, man. I really just can't say that enough.
It's funny. Doe BTC said, hustle as tax prep. That'd be next level. But the funny thing was, I saw an interview with the guy who's the CEO of DocuSign, right? And DocuSign, you know, I think when this kind of AI stuff started, somebody's like, I'm going to spin up a DocuSign. You know how many employees DocuSign has?
Dude, it's insane.
7,000 employees. 7,000, bro. I was like, man, this is incredible. But obviously, I don't know if you've been paying attention over the last couple of weeks, and SaaS companies are getting absolutely destroyed.
I saw January had the most layoffs in a single month in the last 15 years.
Wow. Yeah. I think they're using AI as the excuse to just, trim smartly ahead of eventual destruction. But you just think about, I mean, I do know though, there are certain things like, for example, Intuit, QuickBooks, right? I don't know. My wife pays $200 a month for QuickBooks. Like, is it worth $200 a month? Not really. Like $2,500 a year for an accounting software for a small business is crazy. But to switch, I'm sure there are cheaper versions out there, but that switching is really fucking hard.
Pain in the ass.
Pain in the ass. So I'm not fully out on SaaS, but you can see how it could be near the end.
Yeah, I mean, that was always a bubble. You had all these software as a service sales. That was always a big job of people making $500,000 a year, just selling I don't know, whatever. And it always seemed like that was a little bit ripe, but it seems that is correct.
I mean, there's if you guys aren't familiar, there's CPM stuff where you track your clients and stuff. Dude, it's my wife was paying $300 per seat per month. So if you have 2 employees using it or 3, to track your clients and stuff and inbound sales leads and stuff, $600 a month for 2 people. Damn, bro. I'm run that shit on a Google Sheet, man. Fuck this. Fuck, it's crazy. That shit's going to zero.
So I have some interesting prediction market news. It's always happens in a bear market. Nevada, city that Chris and I live in, trying to shut down prediction markets. They issue
in a non-shocking move.
Yeah, they filed a civil enforcement action against Coinbase's prediction market. So it wasn't even for Polymarket. They're just going after the most notable dog in the business, because Coinbase just launched a prediction market a month ago.
Wow, it's crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah, this was actually one of my predictions 2 years ago, last year, that these unregulated crypto casinos were going to get completely taxed by actual registered states and control boards across the country. It was a little late, but there's no way they're going to allow this stuff to exist without them being the ones that are building it. There's just no way. They're the biggest cartel in the entire world. They're worse than the banking cartel, the gaming.
Dude, the gaming control board in Nevada is one of the most powerful entities.
They run the entire state. They're the single most powerful entity in the state.
Is this the thing where they just this shit's just not going to operate in Nevada? You guys are going to have to use a VPN to use Coinbase. So
it's the thing is, you can't even do VPNs, and the thing is the whole country follows whatever the Nevada gaming control board does.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it sets the precedent for the whole country. It's like Nevada and New Jersey at this point. And so once they make a move, they basically force their hand across the whole country.
So how did that work with sportsbooks then? When DraftKings and all that happened, how did that go down?
I think it was mostly offshore. And then they kind of shoehorned it in through a lottery loophole, which is what a lot of these people do. And so they had some sort of, they labeled most things like DraftKings as sweepstakes. And they offered free entry so that it was able to participate. But then even that just had a pretty big lawsuit, $500 million or something over the last couple of months.
Yeah, but I think, and then it was you couldn't bet here in Nevada, and then eventually I think the casinos ended up getting to take a stake in the companies.
Oh, really?
Was the
Like,
ultimate
I
outcome.
think DraftKings themselves they have an office here, but I don't think they operate in Nevada still.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for me, it's like I think these crypto companies have far more money and power than DraftKings and those guys had when they were starting up. So in the end, I think these guys are going to win. How it plays out.
There's only so many fights you can forge at one time. You're fighting regulators on all fronts. It's very expensive to fight regulators, especially across multiple industries.
Speaking of money and laws and such, I saw that the Clarity Act is coming to an head pretty soon. There's a few main issues, right? Coinbase is sticking up for the cypherpunks, saying like they don't want the banks to, or they want this yield-based stable coins because I think that's part of their business model. I saw the Democrats are the largest PAC in America, the crypto PAC. I forget what it's called. Has like $200 million. That PAC's threatening to pull all funding from the Democrats if they don't get on board with the Clarity Act. And now Chuck Schumer is basically trying to force it through. And so this bill is getting tightened around all angles. Trump is bringing all of the financial components or players to the table. I think they have a meeting like this week or next week between Coinbase and the banks and everyone else. And he's basically said that he's going to have, I think Marco Rubio, who is just always like his utility guy, come in there and babysit it for them to figure it out. And then now you have the Political Action Committee, the largest one, coming up from the Dem side, who the Dems are basically holding it up because of Trump's businesses and crypto. And they're saying that they're going to pull all the funding from all the Dems in before the midterms happen, which the Dems know that if they get trounced in these midterms, they're done for probably 8 years because they know then that JD Vance or whoever the Republicans will probably take the presidency.
All this shit wouldn't have happened if Kamala had just won. If you guys had just voted for Kamala, we'd all be fine right now.
Oh God, we'd probably be in prison.
Bro, you'd be in jail, bro.
We don't have a good outcome. There's no way that these are the players that I want fighting for crypto ideals. Like Brian Armstrong is fighting for a cypherpunk idea. Like he hated Bitcoin for the past 10 years. He didn't do a single thing to support that ideal at all. And now he's like the strong arm. I don't buy it. We're gonna get screwed. I don't know. I wish this whole thing would just disappear, but there's no way that we end up better on the other side of this than we are. Unregulated to regulated. I just don't see how we end up better.
Yeah,
banks coming in and getting their share.
Yeah, I was thinking like today, crypto's taught me a good lesson. Like regulation never prevented shit from happening to me. Right? It's like the thing, shit just happens. Right? And you can be aware of bad stuff. And if you're in a good community, crime and shit doesn't happen because you're in a good community and 99% of people are good. And the one fucker who's bad gets fucking, taken up and beaten or thrown in jail or whatever. Right. But the regulators aren't going to fucking save us, man. It's just not going to happen. And they're not, and we know this for certain. They're not going to fucking pump our bags either, man. We got to make that shit happen ourselves. So back to fucking work, man. Crack the whip.
So if you're a crypto company right now, the market sentiment is near all-time lows. Prices are down, right? You're in a bear market. It seems like the bear market's going to be accelerated compared to previous times. But how do you jumpstart your community? Obviously, we have these conversations internally all the time, right? Hustle Token is
migrate.
What'd you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We migrate and hope for the best.
Yeah, I saw somebody post actually, or somebody in our replies saying now that the prices are down and tokens are down and all the charts look horrendous, probably leads to more migrations because people want a fresh chart, which makes a lot of sense. But
yeah, I mean, I just want to touch on that point, being like a Web3 company in these bad sentiment conditions. So I think this will definitely filter out the true believers. And I will be honest with you guys, I am seriously, how do you say it? Juggling long-term strategy, will we be able to survive if we go into a super long like bear market with all of our protocol features? And like it doesn't really matter because you know it's if something is inevitable, you just can't stop building that, right? You just feel retarded to not do something that you know will happen in the future. So but now it's always the same question, like how to survive during that period, right? If you don't have like product market fit and like stable revenue, it's not as easy, but it's definitely possible. So either like Web3 companies that are like smaller need to like, of course, reduce burn and just sprint towards PMF and some kind of revenue, or you know, recheck their strategy or whatever. So it's definitely like a good question, I would say.
It's the survival,
like,
survival of the fittest, especially as VCs are shutting down as well, or just reducing their
yeah,
cap
I mean,
tables.
yeah, I mean, like a lot of projects and like companies in Web3 are kind of just following the hype, but still, like the problem is the following, or because the sentiment is important even for truly truly useful products that have PMF, right? Because with bad sentiment and bad market conditions, revenue of all of the big like Web3 companies that do have PMF goes lower. So the launch pads have less revenue, the trading terminals, the migration terminal, you know. So that's the problem because it's too market dependent. And it's not like a standard type of business that has stable revenue that can be predictable, like a stable need. But yeah, it's definitely something to think about, and like I don't know I don't know like how to say it, but it's definitely not something that's simple.
Yep.
Because this might be like a super long it might be, you know, a fast reversal, but it can also be a longer bear, and then it will be questionable, you know, for a lot of like how to stay alive.
A lot of AI doomers saying it's a forever bear. It's like the AI is going to take over and nobody's ever going to work again. So enjoy. I don't know.
I mean, I still personally, I still think we are in a super cycle, but I just feel like a retard saying that.
You think the bull's coming back? It's not over yet. It's going to turn quick here. We're going to get a pump into Q2.
Yeah, I'm bullish. I'm a super cycler.
Yeah,
cyclist, but you know, they've been talking about a super cycle for such a long time. If this is not a super cycle, then I don't know what it is. But I'm expecting a God candle in the next soon.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the year plays out at this point. Is the 4-year cycle dead? You know, I don't know. If the market, if Bitcoin closes over 100K by the end of the year as a yearly candle, then it would be yes, right? Because then it'd be green. It'd be actually bull. It's still possible. You're getting this out of the way at the very beginning before some catalysts. I also saw that Cynthia Loomis just said that the Clarity Act has been deferred to spring after their hearing today. So
always happens. Always happens.
says that they hope to have it approved before April 6th.
One of my favorite tweeters, Quark, just put out Tom Lee diversifying into Mr. Beast. Actually, looks pretty savvy now. Bro. Fuck.
But, I mean, Jake, you were talking about how to jumpstart the community and keep your community intact. I mean, you just have to continue building great products. You know, our products get better every day. our competition dwindles pretty much every day. You know, look at how many people are going out of business. So it's a war of innovation just as much as it is a war of attrition, where half the people are just going to not be here in a few years. And if you are one of the ones that are here with stronger products every day, I mean, your community will have no choice but to grow because the products are just that good. So the products that we have continue to get better every single day. We're super fortunate that we wake up and improvements are made every single day. The new Hustle platform should be out soon. The boys were testing it yesterday, seeing some tests. What do we think? What's the don't have to go into detail, but what do we think, boys?
Very fast, much
Very nice.
faster. Very nice, much faster. Some cool new gadgets in it. Chris is putting on some good memory features, and I'm excited to just get this out because that's only a portion of what the or a portion of all these features that we're going to be adding here over the next few months. Obviously, the Hustle token price is down in the dumps, just as every other token is. It's funny because there's actually not that many Hustle sellers. It's because the Sol, the price of Sol keeps going down.
Oh, is that what it is? I haven't even looked, man. So it's like nobody's actually selling. It's just the price of Sols dropped 30%.
Yeah. So it's brought a lot of it down. I mean, there's some people selling. I'm seeing some like bigger chunks of people. There are some people buying. I mean, volume is down. It's around like 20, 30K. It was at like 100K a day a few months ago. So it just shows a lot of the capital is just left, right? I mean, you look across all the other AI projects. Banker in this recent ran up to almost 100 million. Now it's right back down to 30 million.
Shut up.
Back where it was before the whole thing started.
That's crazy. I knew it running up to like 80. I didn't even know it went to 100, but
it was like 90 or
it's already
something.
Dropped all the way down. That's crazy.
Close. It was like getting close to 30 something. It was like close to like breaking 40 million to the downside last time I looked. So back to where it was. Good for them though. They secured a bunch of money for their runway, which is good.
Yeah, I'm happy for them. You know, I love
you need companies like that to continue to build.
I love to see builders win, and they deserve it. They show up every day. They're building a lot of the same stuff that we are, in a lot of the same direction that we are. I think that just proves the thesis. But how do you guys feel about the positioning? How do you guys feel about our spot in the market, where we are today, and where we're going? What's the sentiment?
I'm excited for the EDP and for the vibe coding component. We have some good strategies on it. Actually, today I haven't posted this yet, but we finished the first Smart Vault bridge. We bridged Hustle to Hedera. You can actually go trade Hustle on Hedera right now.
Let's go.
Talking about the Saucer Swap guys, there was like some technical issue on Hedera or on Saucer Swap maybe that they're trying to figure out, but we bridged over to test it out. I think there's like 10K in liquidity to prove out that thesis of the Emblem bridge, which we're going to productize. Actually should be excuse me, a very simple bridge for people to use. Essentially, the way we're going to configure it is that a user can put their can customize their own inputs and outputs. So if you say, I want to bridge Pepe Cash to Solana, you just come in and say Pepe Cash input, Solana output, and then it's created for you. And then that's your and then you have the bridge. You're done. And then you can go ahead and do that. So it'll be good for runes, ordinals, BRC20, doginals, any of the UTXO based stuff, but also just high customizability. Somebody launches a token and they want to bridge it to base, but they don't want to have to build out their own bridge using Layer 0 or whatever. You could go ahead and just use that as a very simple way. The EDP has a lot of room to grow, but I think that's what's going to be what differentiates us from the rest, because we are an interoperability company. But when you look at all the other interoperability companies, none of them have an AI SDK suite like we do. Literally, Layer 0 has no AI. Wormhole has no AI. I think there's a few others as well. None of them have AI stuff, and we do. And then we have the vault technology. I think Layer 0 has vaults. Hasn't really taken off from their perspective. The whole vault narrative is really just yield in these vaults. I feel like that's the most like brain dead simple thing for vaults, but that's what attracts TradFi. It's like the David Su guy from Babylon. I will get you 2% of yield on your Bitcoin. And everyone's like, yeah.
Oh my god!
Standing ovation.
More.
Yeah,
Bro.
right. For TradFi, you're like, you could take your tokens and get 3% yield. And they're like, oh my God, greatest thing ever. Oh my God.
It's great until it doesn't work, man. It's great until you get rugged. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, man. What an interesting time. We got a lot of opportunities here. A lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes, greatness is built in the bear sometimes. And we have a lot of fucking shit, dude.
This is like our 5th bear in like 2 years. The sellers are exhausted.
Sellers
But,
are exhausted.
I mean, I've never been more excited about the future. I think the products we're building are incredible. I think the community that's still around is incredible. And I mean, I just looked like, Griffin, Hanon, both under 10 mil. Those were like multiple $100 million tokens that are under $10 million. Nobody's doing great. It's easy to single anyone out and be like, what's going on here? But the market's just down. But this is where the opportunity lies. And I don't know. I'm just super stoked on the future. I don't think we could be in a better position.
I agree. Teams align, communities align. Migrate Fund is cooking. I think hopefully by the end of the month, Migrate Fund will be a public platform for anyone to create their own migrations without our participation, which will, I think, save Adam and I probably a few years on our life expansion.
Let's go.
Bro, I need to
Yeah,
cut.
sorry for all
I
the
need some
questions I have.
No, you're good.
No, you're good.
I need some of that life regeneration stuff, man. It's killing me. No, it's good.
Yeah, the migrations demand has definitely dried up. With there's still a handful of big ones that we're still working on, but I think Chris had said this on one of the other shows that migrations are a product of the market. When the market's down, everyone's kind of thinking about closing up shop. The smart teams will say, "Hey, let's let's get a fresh start here at the bottom," and then but you know how market psychology and humans are. They don't think about it until they see monkey do, when there's a lot of attention and money's flying up, right? Nobody wants Bitcoin at 65K, but everyone's going to want it when it's at 150K, when it breaks its all-time high. It's the meme that always comes back every cycle, where it's the one guy sitting up at the Bitcoin stand,
Yeah.
and it says like 50K, and then there's 1,000 people at the line that says 100K.
Yeah, we're in a good spot. So feeling as comfortable as we can at this stage. Back's always against the wall, but feeling super optimistic about where the company is.
Yeah, same here. We'll wrap it up here today. I hope everyone has a fun and safe weekend. Stay safe out there. Super Bowl on Sunday, so I hope everyone has a good time. Who do you guys got? Seattle or Pats?
Seahawks look good, baby.
They look good, man.
They look good.
Which
They
tells
do.
me the fucking Patriots are going to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, if the Patriots win, I'm going to be pissed, man. I want the Seahawks to fucking this has the feel like this could be a blowout, right? But something tells me, man, those motherfucking Patriots, man.
Never doubt the Pats, dude.
Never doubt them.
Yep.
Never doubt them. They'll tax your tea. Until then, see you guys soon.
Later, guys.
Later.